All right, we're ready for part 2. We're starting on page 23. We're reading the last day of summer. Here we go, page 23. Boys, the stranger said, his voice strained as he bended off Mr. Fluck's weirdly bendy limbs. Get back to the house. I got this. Got what? At first, Otto thought Mr. Flux was the weaker man in this fight. Now, he didn't think Mr. Flux was a man at all. Otto grabbed his backpack from the grass and retrieved the camera, looping the strap over his neck, the gift he'd been so eager to take. If Mr. Flux wasn't really a man, was his present really a camera? Otto's feet felt rooted to the ground, so it was a good thing Sheed was there to scream directly into his face and yank him off Harkness Hill. Maneuver number 1! Maneuver number 1 meant run. They got back to Grandma's house in no time, gasping and winded. Not from the run. Their typical speed was sprint. They rarely got tired, but from the weird. What was all that about? They rushed through the screen door, or tried to. Otto tugged the handle first, and it didn't budge. Strange. Grandma never locked this door. She'd said, I told you to start doing push-ups. Okay, return the page to 24. He grabbed the handle along with Otto. The door shimmered when they pulled together, a vibration that traveled all the way up their arms. Then it opened so suddenly with an unsticking feel, like tearing loose a strip of silent Velcro. Not thinking much of it, they ran inside. Neither of them kept the door from banging shut behind them, so both tensed for Grandma's inevitable, y'all know better than to be slamming doors in my house. Except it didn't come. She'd got worried. Otto, too. He yelled, Grandma? They were breathing too loud, and their pulses thumped in their ears, so Grandma's response was hard to hear. It wasn't the yelling they expected, and often deserved, but her calm, soothing voice. What they'd come to think of as the bad news voice. Boys, come in the kitchen and try not to be alarmed. All right now. Grandma, she called nervously as he turned the corner. She stood still at the stove with her back to them, like she always did when making her bangin' macaroni and cheese, and also bangin', but in a lesser way, collard greens. Usually when she cooked, the food had the house smellin' some kind of good, and they'd scheme ways to get an early spoonful of banana pudding or sneak a slice of sweet potato pie. At that moment, they didn't smell a thing. She knew Grandma had ailments, and his stomach twisted, thinking she must be having a spell to be standing so stiff and talking so low. Grandma, what's wrong? Is it your sugar? No, baby. Grandma took her insulin. What about your blood pressure? Nah, I don't believe it's that. Neither did Otto. His stomach twisted for different reasons, taking in all the little things that just weren't right about this scene. Boys, I'm so glad that you two are still able to move. Thank the Lord, Grandma said. I think the county acting up somehow. Though it ain't never done something like this before. She'd circled to Grandma's left, Otto to her right, until they saw her pouring broth in a soup pot. The stream of brownish liquid in her clear measuring cup was not moving, even though the cup tipped well past the point where gravity should have emptied it. Instead, it looked like something solid was connecting the measuring cup to the pot. The only time Otto ever saw liquid look like that was in... He gulped. It was a picture of waterfalls, a snapshot where the water was frozen forever. The flames under the pot weren't flickering. They were still, like paintings of flames. She'd watched Grandma's unblinking eyes and unmoving lips. He snapped his fingers in front of her face. Grandma? Don't put your hands in people's faces, boy, she said. It's rude. He snatched his hand back. It was her voice, but her slightly parted lips didn't move. Grandma, why are you talking like a ventriloquist? The sound of the word ventriloquist sent an additional shiver down Otto's spine. Bad memories of their 9th adventure that summer, when they took down the dastardly dummy of Deimos. But Sheed was right. Grandma spoke like she was throwing her voice. It appeared that was the only way she could speak. If you look down at the bottom, you'll see dastardly, which means cowardly. Okay, let's turn to page 26. She'd asked Otto, "What's happening here?" Otto could only think of the cameras dangling from his neck. He removed his pad from his back pocket, scribbled some thoughts. Otto's Legendary Log, Volume 19, Entry Number 34. Today was normal as days could be in Logan County, until Mr. Flux and the stranger showed up. The stranger was very clear we weren't to take any more pictures, but didn't explain why. Now Grandma can't move. Deduction. This can't be a coincidence. But how did it all relate? Otto said, "I have a hunch, but we should go into town to confirm." She'd said, "Shouldn't we do something about Grandma?" "Something like what?" "Ventriloquist Grandma," said, alarmed. They tried tipping her backwards, Otto pushing, She'd catching. It was like trying to push down a tree. They each grabbed an arm and tried to lift her. They'd have had better luck lifting the house. "She's really stuck," said she, sweating from the strain. "Can we move anything?" Otto thought about the way the screen door had been stuck, then unstuck when they first arrived home. "Let's find out." He tried sliding one of the chairs from beneath the kitchen table. At first it wouldn't budge, but slowly it gave, like coming loose from strong glue. Otto continued the experiment. He couldn't pick up forks, spoons, and knives easily. When they tried his Frosty Loop cereal, it was tough for a second or two, but eventually peeled away from the counter. She'd struggled with the refrigerator door, but got it after a few good yanks. Cabinets opened fine with a little extra tug, and they could lift Grandma's biggest, heaviest pots from beneath the counter when they worked together. They sat on the floor panting from the effort. Otto scribbled. Entry number 35. Small things equals easy to move. Medium things equals a little tougher. Teamwork helps. But we couldn't move Grandma, even when we worked together. Why? Deduction. Grandma's too big to move. He showed Sheed, and his cousin nodded. Sounds about right. Otto scribbled more notes, spoke to himself. If Grandma's too big to move under the current conditions, does that mean all people are? "Don't call me big, boy," Grandma said. "Sorry." She'd said, "You try the phone." Then checking it himself, a little sticky, but he lifted the handset easy enough. No dial tone, though. He dropped it back into the cradle. The camera! Mr. Flux said it was supposed to capture the best times of our lives. Are you thinking what I'm thinking? Otto stood unable to look his cousin in the eye. "Let's go to town. Then we'll know. Once we know we can fix it," he almost said, like we always do, but couldn't muster the confidence. Grandma said, "Please hurry, boys. I got an itch. Okay, turning to page 28, and we are done. Now what I need you guys to do is go back from pages 16 through 27 and try to answer as many questions as you can. I will point out on page 23, it talks about similes. Similes are where we compare two things using the words like or as. So when it says use word strategies, underline the simile in the first sentence on page 58. Paragraph 58, what does the author compare in the simile? So go to paragraph 58 and you will see that first sentence. You're going to underline it and then you're going to find the two things that they're comparing. Okay, do your best on the questions. Go back into the text. You might want to underline details. If you need help reading the questions, you can stay on here and I will read them and you can pause them. So I'm going to read the first question, which is on page 19. Under key idea, it says, what gift does Mr. Flux give Otto and Sheed? The next question, analyzing the character. How does Sheed react to meeting Mr. Flux? What does the reaction tell you about him? The stretch. In paragraph 26, it says that Grandma told the boys, nothing good is free or cheap. What does this saying mean? So think about that. Okay, questions on page 21. Key idea. What do Otto, Sheed, and Mr. Flux do with a camera? Analyzing plot. Why is Mr. Flux unable to take a picture of the boys? Cite text evidence in your response. React and write. Reread paragraph 51. Is the stranger a threat to Otto and Sheed? Explain your answer with text evidence. Page 23, key idea. What is revealed in this section about the stranger? So what do we learn about the stranger? Use word strategies. Underline the simile in the first sentence of page 58. What does the author compare in the simile? What does this help you understand? And the stretch. How is the event described in paragraph 53 an example of fantasy? So think about what we know about fantasies. You can even turn back in your book to find some examples that might help you. Page 25, key idea. What do the boys discover when they get to Grandma's house? Analyzing plot. Underline details in paragraphs 87 and 89 that describe what's happening to Grandma. What does Sheed snap? Why does Sheed snap his fingers? What does he learn from this? React and write. What did Grandma's reaction to being frozen help you learn about her? Use text evidence to support your response. Okay, you may work in partners if you can do a good job, or you may work independently. Okay, hope you guys do your personal best and complete these assignments. Okay,